Hi everyone, it's Robin. I am filming my 2021 weeks finalized setup video today after a lot of deliberation and planning and trying to be thoughtful about things. I think I've got things set up the way that I want them to be. So without further ado, let's take a peek at what I'm grateful for. Is that I had spare pages in my two 2020 books. One was for planning and one was for finances and just health and well-being. And like I said in my previous video, my health and well-being book was used primarily in the back for tracking finances and kind of like a check register system, and the front was basically unused. And then in my planner, Hobonichi planner, all of the pages in the front were used, but the note pages in the back were not. So I had a lot of space to try out some systems that I wanted to put into my 2021 weeks, some lettering, how I might label sections, pen tests and what they'd look like. I was just having fun playing. The funny thing is that when I started my 2021 planner thinking, I was aiming for making my weeks book a little bit more decorative and using washi tape and stickers and really replacing my A6 art journal with my Hobonichi Weeks and kind of having a one book system. And through my experimentation, I learned that it's not going to work for me. I think that one of the reasons why is that aesthetically, if I get the setup wrong and end up creating something that I don't like, I've got to look at it for a whole week. This was a page that went a little bit better for me. It was a little bit more pleasing to look at for the week. This page ended up being a disaster, as did this page for the week of Christmas. And don't even get me started about, there's a page in the other book. So I played with being decorative in both this book and in this one with some washi tape. I think I started minimally with just putting some washi tape down. And then I tried, this is the page that I just hated. I love the washi tape, love the stickers, but there's something about the layout that just irritated me. This one was a little bit better. This one was a little bit better. And this one, I'm just like, you know, I just can't. I can't do the decorative thing. I think that I'm going to stick with what I was doing before, which was just using it as a calendar and a tracker and a list of things to do. And I really enjoy, I guess you call this minimal, with a sticker every once in a while. But even like these stickers on the months, by the time the year was done, I was really kind of over them. So my plan to do a decorative weeks quickly got tossed out the window. And scary, it meant that some of the things that I had placed in my 2021 book ended up being peeled off. And thankfully, there were no pages destroyed in the process. I love sarcastic things and salty things. And so a few of the decorative things in here are meant to be for my smiles. That's what I like about doing the decorative elements in a planner is I want to fill it with things that make me smile. And I like for it to be aesthetically pleasing, but it doesn't have to be matchy-matchy. In fact, I really like an eclectic spread of things. So one of the things that I did is I went on Pinterest and I looked up sarcastic sayings and I printed out a whole bunch of these little just paper. They're nothing more than paper, little sarcastic sayings. And my intention is to kind of change this out when I want to. It's just washi taped onto the plastic part of the cover here. But I thought this was just hilarious. And thankfully nobody from work will see, I don't think, my YouTube videos, save for maybe one colleague who will laugh at that. So the inside is, again, my sense of humor and things that make me smile when I open up this book. I love Ellie Brush and Hyperbole and a Half, and I just printed and cut some artwork from her website out. I printed up a few vinyl decals of my Doberman and my Dachshund. Very simple. I just kind of like a simple layout. I did invest in the stickers that go over the top of the calendar for 2021 and 22. I will likely place something over 2020 so that I don't ever have to look at 2020 again. Still haven't figured out what I'm doing for these pages. I did go in and hand letter the months on the side of the pages, and I wrote in work calendar, course, you know, like where work and personal life overlap on here, and birthdays and holidays and paydays on my monthly calendars. But I don't really think that I'm going to decorate these pages, maybe marker, and that'll be about it. So there's nothing really here. Like I said, my life is not, it's not very interesting at all. I don't have children whose schedules I need to track, and my husband and my schedules are really quite regular. So that's one of the things I like about this little book. It just works for me. This is a list of things that I'm giving myself permission at some point in time to purchase. They're on my wish list, or things that I need to replenish, or the remainder of colors to make a set of something. Because I didn't move into this book until I will be moving in officially this coming week. So I have these pages in the front, and I thought that would be a good place to put this, so that if I'm on jet pens and I'm trying to remember what the things were that I needed or wanted, I have an ongoing list. So this is my setup for next week. My pens of choice are this Uniball RE. It's an erasable pen, and the ink is kind of a gray-black color. My other favorite pen to carry in my wallet is this, it's a Pilot Friction Slim Biz, and I really like this one too. The thing that I don't like about this one is that the eraser is like hard plastic, and it really does a number on the pages. So I really like the eraser on the Biz. I like the ink in the Uniball, so kind of a combo is what I go with. And if I'm not using either of these, then I will be using my Pilot Vanishing Point fountain pen, and the ink that I have in there is Lexington Gray. And so grays and subtle, like pencil colored things are kind of my go-to writing tools for the book. Then I've decided that I'm going to use sticky notes for the weekly pages and put events that I need to remember on sticky notes as I'm going through. So I have a few things coming up in January that I'll be writing in when I get to those weeks. I'm trying my hand at using tabs this year. I am not a tab person at all. I don't like that decorative blingy stuff hanging off the edges of my pages. If that's your thing, then that's cool. It's just not mine. I like things simple, and I like these things to be really tiny and unobtrusive, but yet something that I won't get tired of, and something that looks nice. So I did find on Jet Pens, forgive me for taking a roll away from the desk because I wasn't thinking that I forgot that I needed to have these handy. On Jet Pens, they have these Midori index tabs, and I actually ended up buying more than I needed because I thought that it was a package of one. And actually there are 2 pages of all of the colors. But the thing that I like about them is that they're removable. You can move them if you get them wrong or put them in the wrong spot. You can easily move them from one page to another. So I have, I'm trying this year these little tabs. I'm not sure if I put them on the right pages or not for flipping to the section, but we'll find out this year if that's going to work for me or not. So I've got my tabs placed January through December, and there are 2 sets of them. And the reason for that is that the first set is my weekly calendars. So this one for January, when you open it up, will be all of January and February and so on. The second set takes me into my health and wellness tracker section. And there's basically a whole nother week's book set aside with Monday through Sunday each week all the way through the year. And what I'm trying to do in here, I think I mentioned in my other video, is track whether certain foods are causing certain allergic reactions or coughs or just tiredness or whatever. So I've been doing a really good job in this one tracking that for the past month, and I find it helpful. I will forget to take vitamins and supplements if I don't write them down. And I'm also tracking when I am taking a pain reliever or something for an upset stomach, just to kind of keep track of those things. So in my notes section, I have on my index the pages that my sections start on. And what I ended up deciding is that I set aside the correct amount of space to do all of the months for my health and wellness. And it goes through December of, and I have it written down in pencil really lightly so I can erase it when I get to the week, but it goes through December 31st of 2021. And then the next section is for finances and checkbook tracking, and I've got a page per paycheck, and I have all of those pages marked out with the bills that will be coming out of each check so that I kind of have an idea what needs to be paid and what kind of automatic deductions will be taken from my checking account. So there's pages for each of my paycheck, and that's set aside. And then I always leave a page at the end for kind of a wrap up of how much I paid each year for this bill and that bill and so on, so that my husband and I can do our financial planning for the next year. Then the last section, the rest of the book then is for, then I've got a section for order tracking, and I just hand lettered again at the beginning of each section. I hand lettered it matches the months in the front. Keep flipping to the one where the ink kind of came off. So the writing matches from section to section. Yep, there we go. Health, finance, and orders. And then I set aside 1 page per month for order tracking. And what I thought that I would do is start December. I'll probably end up moving some things from December that will not have arrived by January 1st onto here and start with December 2020. But I will use up as much space as I need for January, and then I'll continue with February wherever I leave off. So likely these pages won't be used, and that kind of made a fussy moment for me, in that if I had so many pages set aside, technically this should be the beginning of my notes section. But if it doesn't end here, because everything gets smushed together, if February starts here and ends here, and then March fits here and April and so on, I'd have an extra note pages. So the way that I combated that dilemma or that challenge was I decided I'd start my notes section on the last page and work towards the section before it. So that's why this page looks a little bit weird. The index page. And I already am thinking that I should have done this a little bit differently, but I've got going from the front to the back of the notes here. And what I should have done is started at 215 and gone forward underneath it, but I put it at the end. We'll see how this works. Depends, I guess, on how many pages I use for things. But I've got my Uniball Signal pens, which are my favorite pens as far as using colored anything for writing or drawing. They're fine. They write well, and they dry relatively quickly on the Tomoe River paper. And then my next favorite pen, if I am going to do any coloring and decoration, it's the one that I use for lettering all of this and the days of the week here are Faber Castell Pitt Artist pens. And so I did a swatch of all the different colors on these pages, and I likely won't be using them much in this book now that it's not decorative. I did this when I was still planning on making this a decorative planner, but I like the way that it looks. It's definitely organized and kind of my style. I've got a list of absolute unicorns that if I give myself 100% approval, if I ever stumble across this fountain pen, I give myself permission to purchase it. Because it's a very hard to find pen and is something that I would very much like to have. And then the rest of the pages will be just for notes. I don't know if I'm going to fill in like auto maintenance or measurements for windows or paint colors or things that I generally like to keep track of. And that's one thing that I have yet to make sure. I'm going back through this week's book and grabbing all of the information that's not health and wellness related that I do want to have in my new week's book and to move that into this one. So that will happen in these empty note pages. There's nothing back here on these pages with Japanese writing on them. I've got some of these, I don't know what size they are, 2x3 Post-it notes, I think. And I cut them in half because I don't like the bigger sized Post-it notes. I wanted something that would generally fit in this box. So I just sliced up a few of those sticky notes to have to write appointments in and stick them down on these pages. My ultimate find would be, and I haven't searched really hard, it likely exists someplace in the universe, but I just don't know where it is. So I do have these transparent sticky notes from Daiso, but they really don't take any of the pens that I use really well. So these are kind of not going to work for me. And then I did find these sticky notes at Office Max, and they're huge. And I know that I could definitely cut these down to be the size that I want them to be. So I may yet do that because these yellow ones are having stick issues already. That one had already fallen off. So I'm not sure about that, but this is too long. It just doesn't do it for me. This is another one of the Daiso ones that was hard to write on. I need to use like one of these rote rings or one of these micron pens to write on these sticky notes, and I'm not willing to carry a third pen with me for that purpose. That defeats everything. So still kind of thinking about what kind of sticky notes I'm going to use in here. And then in the back cover, I have my Costco card. I've got one of my favorite, just a sticker printout that's not stuck down, of a card that I purchased probably back in the 80s, and I loved it so much that I put it on my scanner and printed it out. Another sticker that I think is hilarious. They say that we critters of Minnesota, when we are out and about with other people and you're finagling around and you kind of bump into somebody or trying to get around them, that we make this strange noise slash word, oop, 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 oop. I don't know. I've kind of caught myself doing it. If you're ever in Minnesota and you're with people and you hear it, that's what that's for. So I thought that was kind of cute. And there's nothing on the back because this will slide into my Slim a Punto. So that, my friends, is my 2021 weeks setup, and I'm really excited to be moving over. I just have the last paycheck in December to finish up in this book before I can say goodbye to this book. The rest of the page here, and then I won't need these anymore. But I'm going to start writing in this one for next week for doing my planning. So it'll just be finances that I'm going back to my old one for. So that is it. That's my decisions as of right now today. And if anything changes, I will certainly let you know. And I look forward to seeing you in another video soon. Bye.